chat right now. We've got
different. So there's a lot of sound, there's a lot of noise.
Why is everybody in slow motion?
Without further ado, let's bring on Chris. Further ado. So without further ado, let's bring on Lori. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Growin Buds. Without further ado, we are back again. We had a fun, long day of content shooting here.
Oh my goodness.
At BudTrainer, we got new packaging. We got the stamp of our logo going onto the Bud clips for the newer versions. So tried to update that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, I tried to make a display up here, and then I totally forgot about it because we were doing the shoot, and there was this big white tarp over here that we were using to cover the background covering. So I was behind the tarp trying to set it up, and I didn't do it properly. So what we have here are the two 40-pack and the 20-pack all together. It's nice to see the seedlings, and then we have the 20-pack and the 40-pack in yellow all together, all behind the massive Bud clip, which one day we might make for sale. We'll see. We need to have a serious meeting about that one.
Wait,
The big Bud clip.
I missed the joke. I was gonna bring up what happened on
It's
Facebook
okay,
last Friday.
Oh, okay. What?
We got our live was taken down within a couple hours last week. I think it's just because we put the guest link in multiple times. So if you're in the BudTrainers Facebook group and you want to join the live at some point today, we'd love to have you on. I did put a post in the BudTrainers with an S on the end, the group. So if you go to the comments on that post, you'll see the guest link. You'll also see the YouTube link. But anyways, guys, hopefully that doesn't happen again because we do love going live on Facebook. It's one of the better platforms to use with these live videos because you can get into the giveaway. I'm not seeing any comments from Facebook yet. So if you're watching from Facebook and it's working, please let us know. Otherwise, I might just assume that we've actually been taken down already. But we'll see what happens. So, yeah,
I mean, we're going, I feel like it's an uphill battle sometimes with, the algorithms and this and that. It could have had nothing to do with, being cannabis oriented or anything like that. It could have been due to posting the link too many times, but
could be a number of things. I mean, everybody knows the deal with cannabis and social media, and I'm sick of complaining.
They didn't
about
tell
it,
us why, right?
right?
They didn't give us a reason as to why. They just took it out.
It said something about spam. So the only thing I can think of is the giveaway comments where everybody puts it, but that's not just coming from us. Maybe they think you're bots that we made. I don't know. It's obviously not what we do. But anyways, enough complaining about that. We've got an update from my grow room, which is just finished the first week of the stretch phase. H told me
very exciting.
Before I flipped that I was probably going to run out of room. I'm a week into stretch. This is a good question for you, and you can answer again after the video. But I'm wondering, after 1 week of the stretch phase, how much of the stretch has already occurred versus how much is still to come. Like, is it that whole 21 days you're going to see a consistent stretch, or does it usually happen in a quick spurt and slows down?
It's funny, right? Every strain does it a bit differently there, and it depends on the light intensity and how much you're increasing and what speed. And it's hard to control those things because when you change your lighting, it changes, the nutrient intake and the water intake, which changes the CO2 consumption and so on and so on. So you could have different strains that go through a faster, spurt in the first week. Some strains don't even move in the first week, and then they really get a spurt. But typically, what you'll find is that the earlier flowering strains, that flower within 8 weeks or so, within the third week of flower, they won't grow anymore in height. And it's funny because sometimes you get to the second week, it looks like it's stopped already because it's putting out a lot of those pistils and those clusters. Those small buds are starting to form, but it just continues going. It's kind of like my global grow cup plant that turned out to be way taller than I thought it would be. And last time I grew it, though, it turned out it was a very tall plant too, right? It's a strawberry banana grape, which is a sativa dominant hybrid. So yeah, you can see that anytime, but if you're only on the first week, and as we'll see on the video here, you can still expect a lot of growth from that, which is okay as long as you fill up your space within that first week with some lateral training. Then you let them grow up for 2 weeks, and then they'll still put up some nice buds, nicely spread out.
Yeah, very cool. So then after we check out that video, we'll do a tour of H's 3/10, one being the GGC plant, one that's pretty much ready to chop almost probably next week, and then one that you've just flipped the flower. So we've got a nice range, and then you'll also be doing a live training.
Yeah, stage 1 training on a
AK
Dosey that Kurt actually started for me in the bud cups, and then we just transplanted it into the bud pots. But I topped it last week, just before the live, and now the branches were actually a little bit past the time to train, but we did some training with the bud clips and bud huggers, and that was stage 1 of training, just getting that stock structure set up before we go on to topping it again next week.
Perfect. Shout out to the people on Facebook for confirming that we're good to go there. Appreciate you guys. So yeah, we'll have a giveaway after those 2 videos at the end of this probably. But before that, we'll get to the Grow Me show-offs, the show off your grow. So again, if you're in the Bud Trainers group on Facebook, the link will be there. I'm going to post it to the chat just once so that hopefully we don't get another spam warning. And then when we do the giveaway, guys, just so you know, once you put the hashtag in once, you're good. So please don't put it in multiple times, because that could be something else that triggers us. If we have to go down to YouTube, we'll figure out a way to get everybody back on there. So Jamie just asked about that giveaway. We'll put the phrase that you need to put up on later in the episode. We haven't really decided that quite yet. The giveaway will be $25 towards the store. So if you're maybe using some cheaper clips or cheaper pots and haven't made the jump because you're a newer grower, maybe it's time that you upgraded and win that giveaway and get it on us. So yeah, so we'll get that going in a little bit. We did have a big question from Facebook. I'd actually like to get to it. It was kind of funny about the smell of some plants. So let's check out Vicky's.
Have you ever grown a strain that stinks so bad that when you touch it turns your nose upside down? Well, I haven't, and no mold just stinks worse than a skunk. Okay, trichomes are almost dropping off. Or 2, what was your secret getting a strain smell slightly better than what it is now? I know it's a silly question, but I'm curious. Well, no, thank you for the question. No question is ever silly.
It just sounds like the strain you're growing, and because of the environment that you're supplying it with, the nutrients you're supplying it, all of that combination is giving you that skunky sort of stink that you don't like, I would assume, right? Now, unfortunately, unless you were to change the nutrition of your plant and change the environment, there's not much that's going to change there. Sometimes as plants develop, that smell does change. However, I one time grew a number of blue dreams. You'll remember this. They did have a fungus gnat problem, and I don't know if that's what triggered some trichomes that I really did not like. They were skunky, just like you're describing. Lots of trichomes falling off, but I did not like it. I tried to smoke the bud after drying, and I could not do it. I had to give it all away to Kurt here because I was like, man, just take it all. I'm not going to do this anymore because it just cannot get through it. And some people weren't bothered by it, but that's the thing that you have to just understand. Sometimes you're stuck with a strain that doesn't do that great for you, and that's why it's sometimes good to stick with a strain or 2 strains, especially when you're not an expert grower yet, so that you learn about what you like, and then you grow a strain that you like, and you grow it again and again, and it just gets better. You just become better at that. And then you start growing some different strains, and if you find one that you don't like the smell of, like that one, for example, maybe just don't grow that strain.
I would love to know what strain it is, because there's
it's
funny stuff, right? Like there's one that I saw that it's called Garlic Breath. I think Niagara Homegrown might have grown that.
I've heard about that strain a number of times. I never grew it myself. Yeah.
No, but like that's it could be, I don't know if you've seen Harry Potter, obviously, and they have the little jelly beans, and some of them have really bad flavors. Right. Maybe we're at the point now where breeders are like, we've run out of all the good flavors. Let's try some like bad smelling ones, right? So yeah, let's maybe find out what strain that was, so people who don't like the really skunky, potent stuff can stay away from it. Now, I know from what I've seen, tell me this is bro science maybe, but having too much nitrogen at the end of your flowering period in your nutrients can reduce the amount of terps that come off of that plant. Is there any truth to that? Like maybe you could use that. Obviously, people are trying to remove the nitrogen so they get more terps. But if you don't like the terps, maybe adding some veg newts at the end of flower.
Well, I mean, in theory, perhaps nitrogen, it just adds more chlorophyll to the system as well, like what makes your plants really green. That's why toward, late flower, your plants start going with those fall colors, the yellows and the reds and so on. But I couldn't attest to any nitrogen. It will reduce the terps. And even then, a little bit of a bad terp is still a bad terp. It's sometimes it's just that, like, even the hint of a smell, if you don't like it, intensified or not, it's still going to be unpleasant, right? So I think that it's one of those where you might just take note of that strain that you grew and perhaps not.
I think we have another piece of the puzzle. So she got it from an ex. So maybe it was sabotage. Maybe he found a very stinky thing that he knew you wouldn't like, or she, and got you that. But you said maybe a Gorilla Glue. I'm growing a Gorilla Jealousy, and I think Gorilla Glue might be one of the parents, or is there Gorilla? There's so many out there, guys.
Gorilla Jealousy is one that I grew in the 2x4 tent, and it yielded some very small buds that we ended up freezing, and I'm going to extract it into hash because, I don't know, the buds were beautiful. They were like crystal covered, but they were just small and very airy, not even foxtails, but just very airy. It was a very different sort of plant. So decided to, extract that one. But funny story that the ex gave you that one. Gorilla Glue does have a very pungent smell. I particularly love it. But
Marco, we have a great article on post-harvest care. So if you go to BudTrainer.com, you hit the Learn tab, you'll see that article on there. It's a very detailed. It's got stuff on curing, trimming, everything you need to know about drying. You can also email hello@budtrainer.com, and you'll get a response from our friend Buddy, which is essentially H's brain packed into an autoresponder, kind of like an AI thing. But it's directly from you, so it's not pulling from random stuff on the internet.
Exactly.
You'll get the information.
And to Curtis's point, like if you're in a specific environment, you can email hello@budtrainer.com and say, hey, I'm wondering how to dry my plants. Here's what I know. I live in a place where the humidity in the house is high or low, or if you know the actual humidity, give it the percentage. I have airflow or not around it and so on. Give it the constraints that you're working with, and then you say, how can I best dry my plant? And then Buddy, like Curtis said, is going to pick up from all of the articles that we've created, all the lessons that we did, plus a lot of smaller articles that we've created within BudTrainer itself from our knowledge, and it's going to tell you, based on BudTrainer's knowledge, here's how you should better dry your plants. Anybody can try this. If you guys email hello@budtrainer.com, you can be super specific on your questions. And if you ever get a question that is not 100% full or like fully explanatory, we email you on top of that just to let you know the full answer on top of it, right? So email hello@budtrainer.com. You're going to talk directly to Buddy, and it's cool because you're going to get an answer in 1 minute, and it's going to be tailored to your case scenario.
Very cool. So without further ado, which is our favorite saying, as you can tell from the intro video, let's go check out my grow room. Filmed this yesterday, and we can check this out. This is 8 days exactly into the flower cycle. I have 4 plants from seed on the right and 3 clones on the left that I decided to keep. So do this and boom. Alrighty, happy Friday, folks. We're back at Kurt's grow room here. This is a week into the stretch phase, so we flipped to 12-12 8 days ago now, and the room is starting to get pretty packed. I did decide that I was going to keep all of my clones that weren't looking so hot. They are looking a lot better now, starting to get some normal looking fan leaves, and they are stretching as well. Obviously didn't do as much training or try to maximize these because I'm just going to be washing them at the end. The 4 from seed are looking super healthy. They're drinking quite a bit right now. I've got the nutrients up as high as Athena tells me to, which is that 3.0 EC, which is a little bit higher than I used to be comfortable with, but the results have been so good that I'm just going to be trusting them. Another 2 weeks, I will be doing a defoal. We have 2 weeks left in the stretch period, so I don't know, H, what do you think? Is this going to be too high still, or do you think I'll be able to use this for some bud support? Because if things continue to go as well as they're going, I should have some fat, floppy buds by the end of this that are going to need a trellis net, and probably a little bit too much work for me to try and lower this. So I am hoping that they continue to stretch. Look at those leaves, just absolutely loving life. So many tops. Very excited for the next 2 months in this room. It's going to get pretty stinky. Going to raise the light up probably pretty soon, depending on how these stretch. But yeah, H, let me know what you think. Not seeing anything that's concerning me in the leaves. I always notice that my plants get very like lime green where the new growth is coming out. Maybe that's normal, but let me know if that could be some sort of deficiency that you're seeing in the early stages. So yeah, we'll check back in a couple of weeks on this room when I have to go in and clean all these up, strip the lower thirds, get rid of shoots that aren't going to reach that top canopy, and really support the remaining tops and the remaining shoots so that I can get a bountiful harvest. So back to you and myself in the studio.
All right, thanks, Kurt. We're back here in the studio. H, what do you think of the question? Do you think they're going to stretch to that Northern Scrogger inspired Scrog frame, or do you think I'm going to be a little bit too high on that thing?
No, great question. And scrog nets, they're used for different purposes. One is to like keep your plant low and get the horizontal growth, or it's used to support your buds so that they don't start flopping around and then falling over, right? So I think that based on the plants that you have, there's some that are definitely going to make it past that level. But the thing is, because you've already filled up that entire space, you're not going to need that trellis net to actually train those branches under anymore. So at this point, your plant, even the lowest one, the buds will probably just get to the top of that trellis net. And if they didn't, you could easily tie some bud huggers just to keep them up there. But I think that ultimately you're going to just be able to let them grow right through that trellis net. It's going to support it. And then you'll do a nice defold, a nice lollipop on all of that, square area. And
yeah,
you're going to get full top.
Yeah. I built that. Actually, I didn't build it myself. I built the top part, but you actually built the bottom.
Right. Yeah, that's
the one
that's
on
the
wheels.
one that I gave you a while ago.
And the whole point of me using that was so that I could get into the other sides. But of course, I'm just obsessed with keeping things alive. And those clones, I just didn't have the heart to kill them. And that's taking up that extra room that I
you had to walk around.
To move it around. So now I can't even move it. But it's still convenient to have. But yeah, man, it's going to be tough to get to where I need to go.
Just
at the back.
Imagine a commercial grower where they have those big long benches that they have to move around, and they're like,
well, they figure it all out, right? They can you can even at Niagara College, that huge probably 10-foot bench, you just push it over. It's
that's right.
Smooth as,
but I mean,
smooth as butter.
As long as you don't plant in between the benches, then you can move it around.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as passionate as I am, I guess. They keep backup plants in case stuff goes wrong and just kill them if they don't. So, anyways, guys, that is my room. Let's check in with the chat for a little bit. We had a question about what nutrient line from Stoked Smoke. That's the Athena Pro. H is using the Athena Blended. Both of us are super happy with the results. The Athena Pro runs a bit of a high EC, so if you're going to run the Athena Pro, I really suggest doing runoff every time that you water. I'm in cocoa, so I kind of do that anyways because cocoa doesn't have any nutrients for the plant to uptake without those liquid nutrients going in each time. So
Yeah, and even with soil, I got the advice from Athena itself. They have a hotline you can call. It's pretty cool to talk about, nutrients in your plants when you're using their lines. And they said that if you're using soil, especially during the veg and the early stages, you can use less than what's recommended because they build up a little bit and then you go on to the full dose. However, like Curtis said, it is important to get that runoff at least once a week to make sure that you're washing off any excess.
Christopher, that was a great comment, and I don't even know why I forgot that I did it, because I raised the last plant that I used that scrog frame for. So great suggestion there. If they don't stretch all the way up high enough to where that trellis net's going to be giving them support, just throw another riser in the bottom. I use risers in that big tray anyways to get that airflow underneath the pot, so I get the air pruning.
And on top of that too, it's about giving that plant the same amount of energy that the other ones are getting. Otherwise, the plants around it will eventually just grow over it. And maybe that's partly that gorilla jealousy that we grew over there that ended up with the smaller buds. There was a big blue dream right beside it that grew much taller. And I even elevated it a little bit. Clearly not enough. But it's always nice to keep an even canopy. It's one of those things about growing different strains sometimes, or plants at different stages where you get them at different heights, right? So it's kind of difficult not to let the big ones dwarf the small ones there.
Very cool. Richard, his question about autos. Should we go to a 12-12 cycle when the flowering starts for autos?
No, absolutely not. That's the good question, but absolutely not. You can leave it at the 18-6, some of them 20 in 4. Some people leave it on for 24 hours, but that's not recommended because you don't get as much root growth. Root grows best at night. So 18 hours on, 6 hours off, your auto flower is going to start flowering naturally, and it's going to continue flowering. And the thing is, it has an extra 6 hours of light every day. It's 6 hours of more energy coming into the plant versus a photo period that gets only 12 hours a day, right? So that's the thing about auto flowers, is that they tend to be smaller but like bulkier and with really big buds because they're getting 18 hours a day for the full flowering cycle, whereas a photo period, you have more time to grow it out, but then they only get 12 hours a day during the flowering period.
Very cool. So this is the link for the guests today, guys. I'm not going to put it in the comments just yet because it's going to be another 10 minutes before we start bringing people on. So I'll do that in about 5 minutes, maybe while H is doing the live training. You'll see that come through in the comments. It's a little bit easier to click. But yeah, we'll be bringing on 4 to 5 growers. We're already 23 minutes in, and we haven't even checked out your plants.
Oh my God! Yeah,
so things are going great. I love this. I mean, I feel entertained. It's moving quickly. Hopefully, you guys feel the same watching. So,
and guys, if you have the patience to type in those letters over there on the browser, just streamyard.com is easy, but those letters over there, and you can already join into the back over here. We might have time for 5 today, like we tried to do last time, but perhaps not. So if you guys want to show us your plants, whether you're really proud of them or whether you're not and you need help, come on over. We're going to share the screen here with you. You're going to walk us through your garden. And if you've been doing this with us already, guys, please come on back. We love to see progress on your plants. We always remember who you guys are and where your plants were at. So it's always nice to see an update a week or 2 away every time.
Cool. Alrighty, well, let's check out your tents, H, and get to the live training. If you have a plant that's been topped about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, this is a great lesson for you because it's going to apply to the stage that your plant is right now. So let's go there.
All right, first things first, let's check out my Global Grow Cup plant in this AC Infinity 2x2 that we got from AC Infinity, one of the organizers of the Global Grow Cup with us. Now, I got to say, I'm not super happy with this plant right now because it started getting into some nutrient lockout. I'm not being able to get runoff when I water it because the roots are so tight that it doesn't matter how long I water them for. The water doesn't go through very fast. It goes through so slow that by the time it gets to the bottom, the plant already drank it. And if I try to water any faster, then the water goes all over, spills outside of the cups, right? So now I'm just pretty much locked in with that. The only way to take care of this now would be to take that out, make some cuts into those roots to actually purposely hurt them so that they can regrow again and let that water through. But with that said, the buds are looking nice. They're pretty crystally. They're just getting some burnt tips here everywhere. And because this is a late flowering strain and it's been flowering for, I think, 7-8 weeks, it's not, super ideal. But we'll see what comes out of it. At least the buds are all very consistent. There's a good number of buds. All of the branches are well trained. So that's where I got to give it to Kurt for having that big bud on his plant. So let's see if it stands up, though. Let's see if it stands up. Now, what we have here is that Blue Dream, which does have some very massive buds here. This one is pretty much as white as a Coke can right now. And then we have multiple others. We trained it with the BudTrainer method. We had to put a whole bud hugger around it and tie it to the corner of the tent just because it was falling over because it was so heavy. Now, this one here is very close. We're going to harvest it this weekend already. So next week, we might actually talk about it while it's hanging upside down and drying. I'm actually going to have to be careful with these buds because they're large. And with that, you have to watch out for mold. So when you have very large buds like that, it's nice. But if you're not in a very dry environment in the first 2 to 3 days, then you're in trouble. So that's what we're going to be watching out for after harvesting that one. And lastly, over here, we have our Purple Punch. I always forget this name. And she's looking beautiful. So this one here is from Seedsman. Kurt actually started the seed for me, and I transplanted it into the bud pots, trained it with the BudTrainer method, topped it a couple of times, not on all branches, but the top 2 branches. And as we can see here, we got a very even canopy, almost filling up this 3x3. It's been flowering for only 1 week, and it's already almost to the edges. So over the next 2 weeks, while it keeps stretching, I'm actually over this weekend going to put a trellis net over top here so that we can continue training those branches under and getting as much canopy area as possible. And then lastly, we have the training that we're going to do today. We're going to cut here now and go over to the table over there with our full plant. All right, so what we have here is an AK Do-Si-Do. It was stopped 1 week ago, and it grew these top branches here very fast. They're ready for some training. So what we're going to do here, and as you can see, by the way, this is a very tall plant. There's 4 nodes left here, and the internodal spacing is like 3 to 4 inches. So because of that, we have these lower branches. While they're pretty tall for being the first or the second node over here, they're still not caught up to the top branches. So what we're going to do is first we're going to train these top branches very carefully because they're already getting hardy. If I was to train them on the main stalk here, I can guarantee you I would break it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find which spot can I get a bend where the bud clips are going to go in and not force them too much. So this here sounds about right. We got that bend right there before even putting the bud clips in. So I'm going to try to do the same thing, do a little massaging here, little squeeze and a pre-bend before you put those bud clips in, and then you know for sure that you're not going to break a branch. So now these 2 here are nicely set up. We're going to try and put these fan leaves off to the sides over here because that helps with more light exposure and better airflow around these little buds. They're going to start facing up again in no time, but what's really catching the light here, the big solar panels, are these leaves. Now we have the second node here. Second node is now almost surpassing the first node. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the bud clips, also not right where it's hardy and where we're going to break the branch, but more so where it's a little softer. So let me get another bud clip. Let's go from the bottom up to try and find a spot right around the node here is where it's a good spot for that bud clip. We're getting the band without having to stress the branch too much, which is ideal. It's low stress training for a reason. And then what we're going to do here on this last one is the same thing, just around the same spot. Do a pre-massage here around the node. I'm going to put this bud clip in after the node. So there we go. It's starting before and going right after, just like the other pair. Now, if you notice, we have these third nodes from the bottom here that are right under the first node. Because we don't want to lower these here anymore, if we do, they're going to be lower than the top again, and they're going to get weaker again. What we want to do is we want to train them to the sides a little bit. So what we're going to do with our bud huggers this time, instead of training these branches down in a way, we're going to train them to the side in a way. So I'm going to get one of a longer piece. You know, we've been reusing these bud huggers here for years already because that's what they're made for being reused. And I'm going to pull this branch over to the side right from the base here so that it is now out of the way. Now, I've got to be honest, this one here is a little bit too aggressive. I'm going to get a longer piece here so that we don't have to bend the branch too much. I'm going to tie that up, and I'm going to pull just a little bit less because I also don't want to lower it too much, right? So right there,
out of the way. Now the light is going to hit it directly, and we have more airflow around it. We're going to do the same thing to the opposite side, trying to make it as symmetrical as possible. I'm going to get another longer one. I'm going to put it on the hole that is very opposite to that hole, and I'm going to now try and pick up the same branch here, pull it a little bit to the side from the very base, and off we go. So now it's got its own space here. That's great. And what we can do is look at the very bottom branches. So these are the very bottoms here, guys, and they are also under the second node. So what we're going to do is we're going to very gently pull them to the side again with the bud huggers on an angle, just so that they get that extra light exposure and that extra airflow. So right there, pull it over, perfect. So now it's out of the way. It's got its own real estate over here. And we're going to do the same thing to this one. Put it right there, pull it to the side, and off we go. Okay. So that's it, guys. We have a full training here. If you notice, this plant now is very well spread out. If we were to look at it from the top there, if you can show them, Curtis, all of these buds have good light exposure, good airflow around them, and they're ready to continue growing toward the light. So I'm going to put this plant away now, and we're going to leave it alone for another week or so, when we're going to come here, retrain these branches, and then do another topping so that they multiply these top branches even more, and so that the bottom branches can catch up. So I'm going to put this away, and I'll see you back at the live.
Alrighty. Hope you guys enjoyed that.
Yeah, we're back.
A little impromptu training session. And on the topic of training, Crimson had a point here about the bud clips. I've noticed the bud clips are quite slippery when first applying, especially on a branch that is smaller than the clip. A few fell off before the branches could bend back. Almost had to tape them on to stay.
Yeah, no, that's a great point there, Crimson Grows. And when you're using the bud clips on a very young branch that's very small, sometimes you just want to put it over so that that very small top comes right through. What happens is the bud clips, while they're already the smallest and lightest clip you can pretty much get out there, they might still be too heavy. So what we do in those cases is the bud clips, they can always be used. If the branch is bent this way, you can use the bud clips going in this way, or you can use them going in this way. Now, what typically happens is if you go one way, the bud clips are going to be slightly angled down. And if they're angled down with the little arms facing up, they will slide off. However, if you go and you flip your bud clips to the other side, now they're angled down with the little arms going in. So if they're going to fall off, they're actually going to stay more into the branch. With this said, there's another other reason why you could have done so. Even if you did it this way and it was secure initially, and then you went away and you came back a few hours later and now it was fallen, could be because of your airflow in the tent. And two, it might just be too early to train that branch. Ideally, you want the branch to be able to have some thickness to it and some bend back, some spring back, so that when you put the clip, the branch is already forcing itself back against the arm so that it can then keep the clip in place. If you're putting a branch down and it's so small and it's so weak that it's just staying low like this, it might not be enough, or might not be time yet to use the bud clips. If you wait a few days, you can go right back to that spot. And if you're growing in cocoa or growing in pro mix with some nutrients that are pretty aggressive, give it 1 or 2 days, and that same spot you're trying to train is already going to be big enough. The bud clips are going to stay.
Yeah, I even thought originally to start scoring them, but when you are using them like a week after you top, like in the BudTrainer method, those branches are going to be thick enough that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, and we didn't want to make a smaller one. We tested 5 different sizes on the bud clips and multiple plants to come to this specific size here.
Plus, we have the big
And
one
that size, of course. Yeah, exactly. That one over there is not really going to stay on your branch. But we landed on the size because smaller ones, you kind of run the risk of putting them on and then it stays on your branch, but you give it 3 days and you come back, now that branch is strangled because branches grow really fast, right? And you have a small little clip on them.
Even in hydro, like sometimes you can only leave them on a couple days.
Yeah, it's crazy how fast things grow.
We've got Stoked Smoke. We've got a bunch of seedlings going, no scrog this time. All 9 are going to be bud clips and topping only.
Awesome. Yeah, that's very exciting.
Cool. We have one person in the background right now, guys. I did put the link into the chat on both Facebook and YouTube. So scroll up if you can't see it. I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Again, I don't want to spam it in the chat to piss off Mr. Zuckerberg, but we'll put it back on the screen there. And Smoked in the Water is going to be up first. So if you can give me just a little wiggle of your camera, just so I know that you're ready to come on with us.
There we go.
Perfect. All righty. Let's get you going.
Hello, how are you?
Hello. I'm doing
Could you
great.
just try to... we're
Excellent.
doing great. Can you just try to rotate your camera back and forth quick to see if it'll...
Because it's still in the
flatten out.
vertical. It's still in the vertical mode somehow.
Oh, I think you have the portrait lock on, if I remember correctly. So just, keep it up and down straight, and that'll be good to go.
Okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
But yeah, this is our first time Scrogger checking back in. So
Yeah.
tell us how the first bit of flower has been going.
It's going good. They're starting to stack up a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Got a good harvest coming along just fine.
Right on.
Look at that. Yeah, I love the undershots of Scrogs. They look so cool.
No, lots of colas there. So what? 7x5, right? That top net.
The top net is actually 6x8 now,
Oh wow! Right on.
and
Nice.
as you can see, she's pretty full.
Oh yeah, all the way.
And
Oh,
you're
that's
still
excellent.
getting pretty good light exposure with it being right against the house.
Yeah. I get a lot
Awesome.
of good afternoon sun right here, and the white reflex back gets great light.
That's excellent.
Very
And
cool.
then,
And you've done a lot of pruning and defoil, it looks like.
Yeah,
How'd that go?
hours upon hours.
Oh, there's a puppy.
Yeah,
Right on.
And
Yeah,
then I
don't
got
forget to bring your dogs if you're going to show off your grow, guys. We've
Yeah.
seen some really cool dogs. We're always happy to see the puppies on here.
I've got the auto that I screwed up, and I decided to top, and it
Yeah.
put it into flower. So we'll see what it turns out to be. But looks like I've screwed up my second auto, but the photo seems to be doing great.
I think you'll have enough to keep you comfortable from the photo.
I think you're right.
That's awesome, man. Well, yeah, again, that's somebody trying something new for the first time and doing really well at it because of the great people in this community, like the Northern Scrogger, who teaches Scrog
Absolutely.
School, and he's an awesome user of bud clips. Actually, to Crimson's point, he puts them on pretty early in his
That's
grow.
right.
I mean, maybe he's got a good tip for using it that early in the plant's life cycle. But very cool,
excellent.
man. We got barbed wire up next. So unless you have any questions for us, I think we'll let you go and enjoy your weekend.
All right, you guys have a great weekend. See y'all
Thanks
later.
so much for showing off. Yeah,
Yeah.
looking great.
So we'll hopefully get some more check-ins from him throughout the flower
Yeah.
process because I think he's already got the 2 trellis nets, so
Yeah, I know.
he's thought things
They're
through.
ready there. Yeah.
But I'm not even sure he's got enough support there, especially if they're still stretching at all. We should probably be through the stretch
Yeah, I
phase
think
now.
that those ones that look through
Yeah.
the stretch, they look like they're putting on some bud now. So
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't really grown outdoors as much since joining BudTrainer. I started outdoors, but definitely not.
yeah, this was the first year that I didn't grow outdoors, which is unfortunately just where I used to grow. I learned over a couple of years that, or maybe 3 years growing there, that late into the fall or late into this time of the year now,
Yeah.
when they're ready, and flowering at their strongest, then I get a lot of shade in my backyard. And
They're gonna fill in and put some heavy weight on those. So let's go to barbed wire if she's ready to go with her
barbed wire ready
fancy
there. Yeah.
new camera. And
Awesome. Barbed wire, how are you?
Hi. Here's Frodo.
and we
Stay.
got the puppy
Stay.
too.
Hey, Frodo.
Frodo. Sit. There's Frodo. Frodo, buddy, sit. Oh, he's
Frodo.
like
Say
he's
hi,
a grumpy
Frodo.
old man.
That's
Well-
okay. He's like, I'm not gonna look. It's guy. I wasn't big on pictures.
He's like,
either.
yeah, you made me wake me up.
Yeah.
So I
How's the
wanted to
garden
show
looking?
you. I want to show you the nice fade we got going on.
Wow, look at that. Look at those.
And remember you told me to use hydrogen peroxide? What's the cut of water should I be doing?
Typically, if you want to be aggressive because it's bad, half and half, but a third of hydrogen peroxide to 2/3 of water should be good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I used it straight the first time. I was like, that might be a little strong, but it did a pretty good job.
Yeah, well, no, I don't know if like one time using it will do enough damage. I mean, they do use some pretty strong stuff when they use it, at what's it called, at commercial growers. So with that, I think you're doing fine. The plant looks great. Those buds are very pronounced, and it looks really green in the center.
So I diluted it the next time.
Okay.
I kind of like did a little research and so.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. But yeah, they're all getting some nice.
Stoke Smoke says the women are kicking the guys' butts right now. So we love it when we see the female women growers coming in here and joining, because it is like the basement growers, predominantly the dudes, right? But this hobby's for everybody, and Barb's killing it. So
I moved them too because they were getting a lot of shade from the garage, and I have a huge tree. So where they were sitting, they were getting a lot of shade, and I think that might have been contributing to the powdery mildew.
Yeah, for sure.
So I moved them over here to the patio now.
Right on.
So they're getting more sunshine. Yeah, that's what's nice with these little boxes. You can move them around. But they're looking good. So
they're looking great. The colas are pronounced. It's nice when you move the camera, like you really see all of the buds, and very well trained. So you definitely got, I don't know, 20, 30 colas per plant at least.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is
are
probably.
You posting these, are you posting these to Instagram or anything, or do you have an Instagram account?
Yes. They're on my Instagram and on my Facebook.
Very cool. What's your Instagram handle?
It's Babs 55555.
Five of them?
There might be another 5. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Well,
I made it
go
private
check them out
again,
there, because I think some pictures would be cool to see for people too. It doesn't always give it justice on the lives, although they do look fantastic. So Babs, and then the 5s until you see an account pop up, I think will do. Yeah. How do you think your Bills are going to do this week? Do they play, or do they have a bye?
Oh, they're on Monday night.
Oh, we got Monday Night Football.
Yes, we have a Monday night game. So they better show up for this. They're now 3-0 or 2-0. So we gotta win this one.
3-0 is on the horizon. So fun. I'm a big football guy. H, you ever watched American football?
I did live one time. I did watch Buffalo Bills against the Pats, and it was a great game.
When Brady was still there, probably then.
Yes, this was in 2013, I believe, and it was a great game because the Bills started losing like 18-0, and then they ended up winning 27-18.
Oh wow!
It was a really good game.
Wow, cool. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, they came back around, and the Pats were the favorite for sure at that time. But the Bills were at home. We were just in Buffalo, So
anyways, what doesn't go better than?
Thank you, gentlemen. Hey, I have one more question for you. Are you guys going to be able? Will you be selling the BudTrainer shirts in black with the yellow print?
Yeah, the gray one. So like a dark gray with the yellow print. We will. We just haven't gotten to it because we're doing, the 40 packs on the Bud clips, the black Bud clips, the Bud cups hitting all the stores. But it's on our list. We did. I guess our supplier sent us accidentally some gray ones instead of yellow ones, but just on one size. So instead of making just that one size available, we decided to kind of just get the other sizes, and then
the more we get asked for merch, the more I think we can convince H to make it. I've been asking for a sweater for a while.
Well, I got a shirt coming. I was hoping it would be here by today, but
they are very comfortable.
I'll have to check on that for you to see where it's at. So
cool. Yeah. Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, thanks
Bye.
for showing off
Bye,
your
all.
plants.
Have a great weekend.
We've had multiple check-ins with her now throughout the grow.
Really cool to see from when
the-
she put them outdoors.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, because originally it looked like there was some re-vegging going on, and she thought they were male almost, and she was getting ready to cut them down early,
Right.
a few of them, and now look at them, right? Like
Not males at all.
they're absolutely beautiful. Definitely not males. The biggest problem she's going to have now is how much she's going to have to trim. So
right.
we
Gonna be a lot
got another
Long timer here.
friend, friend and long time participant, and we thank him for coming on again. It looks like he's getting up and getting ready. So if I can get a head nod when you're good to come on, Anthony, we'll bring Anthony on. He's a newer grower as well, but you would not know it by the accomplishments he's made with the tents, the different types of growing. So let's bring on Anthony.
What's going on, sir?
How you guys doing? Been a while.
It has been a while.
So
look at those.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Woo.
this is what I'm looking
Look
like.
at those.
Wow, best yet.
Had some rough patches with them. Right from the get-go. Then right when it was going good, I had I told you, I shared with you guys, my brother had passed, and they started to get away from me again. But these plants are really resilient, as everyone just seen with Barb's plant. If they tune in regularly, these things are resilient.
Man.
And they'll bounce back. So right now I got the canopy looking pretty good. I just did a defoliation on these two front ones and tried to clean it up some.
Nice.
Best I could. I got to get to those back ones yet. I got to get those cleaned up. But I put the trellis net on H like you told me to, and the tops.
Yeah.
They look good.
They look really good, man. You might even want to clean those up even more. You've done a great job with the lollipop, but they're so tight together. I think they could use a bit more light, even. H?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking, H? I don't know. You're the.
Well, they're praying right now, which means they're really liking the intensity of light. Because the thing is, you can supply more light, but then you also have to increase CO2, and it's hard to get a perfect balance unless you have all of the different measurement devices to really control it. And I think that they're doing great. Yeah, and for you guys who don't know, Anthony came on here 2.5 months ago with these plants, just like from clones, and they were small, they were meek, they had nutrient deficiencies, and we figured out it was a pH issue, right, Anthony?
Yeah, well, the whole feed I think I had off. They were looking like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree in here.
Right. Yeah, and now look at that. It's awesome that we're able to figure out and diagnose what that problem was. We fixed it, and last time we checked in, the plants were already bouncing back, and now look at them. It's this is excellent.
Yeah, I'm very happy with them, and this is my first run too. I've always used I used Canna in the past with my grows, and this one I use Kronk Nutrients. Kronk, I think they're from Canada.
Yeah, I think so.
And they're doing well. I'm happy with it. I think I got the feeding kind of dialed in. I think I'm gonna go a little heavier on this one. Maybe go to a 1.2 EC when I feed this time, which will be this weekend. I'm gonna do a complete drain and feed them at about a 1.2. See how they do here. And then the only other thing I got going would be, let me see if I can flip this real quick. I still got my my grow cup. Yeah, I'm still in it. So
yeah,
that's in flower. I'm gonna it should finish up right at the end of next month. So it kind of played out real good. And this one, man, if I put it through the ringer a couple times, it's almost completely lost it. But I got to take this one out tomorrow. Tomorrow or Sunday will be week 3 of flower with it. But I'm happy to still just be in here, man.
Hey, man, it's an accomplishment. There's been a lot of plants lost along the way, so
I'm imagining. So I want to see how many. I believe if I remember correctly, we had 187 to begin.
Yeah, that's right.
That sound right?
Yeah.
I want to see out of 180. out of the 187, I want to see how many of us actually make it to
the very end.
To the finish line. You know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, we got some work to do to tally all the remaining people, and yeah, I'd estimate we're well under 150 probably. By now, right?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
We've seen some really good ones go, you know, and
Well, I'll tell you what,
those are just the only ones we saw.
Miss 420 got her thing looking like Captain America's shield weeks ago, so I haven't been on and seen hers lately.
Oh man, I'm so sorry to break this to you, but hers died.
Oh man.
What, Mr. 420 sabotaged her?
No, they both died, and it just stopped drinking one day, and they're out. So yeah, that one was, I would say, an early favorite, right? But it's the turtle that wins this race, not the
slow and steady, right? Yeah, I'll tell you what, that one in there's been a couple times, you know, I got that on the drip irrigation, and it shows normal water level in the morning, and then I get home and that thing's withered down. And I've told you, I shared with you in the past, I kind of put a couple of my plants through some real rigorous letting it dry out and then watering it, see how much it'll bounce back. And that cocoa, man, it's almost instantaneous if you get them nutrients back in that cocoa. Within an hour, I've seen them perk back up. So
yeah, if you catch it early enough and you're like doing it on purpose and you've set alarms, but I've been known to come back to some crispy plants from growing in cocoa. It only takes 1 or 2 days and you can pretty much lose it forever, especially if you're running your light at 100%. So yeah, I wouldn't. If you're just playing around and you want to experiment and you're open to the risks of that, then do whatever you want. But I was very sad when it happened to me.
For sure, I'm sure. Yeah. Well, guys, it's been good to be back on with you, and hopefully I'll be jumping on regularly again here. At least if nothing else, in sitting in the chat in there watching.
We really appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend.
All right, you
guys.
Have
a great one, Anthony. Cheers.
All right. Always great to hear from him. And guys, if you're still in the GGC, congratulations on making it this far.
And if you guys already made your final submission, congratulations on making it all the way. You know,
there's going to be people who are across the finish line now, and please stay patient. We're going to have
make your submission for this month.
Please do. We'll have to make sure we post more about that as well. But yeah, I mean, what a run it's been. It's felt like a long time. We gave people a long time to veg these plants so that you'd have some flexibility on when you wanted to start your plant. You wouldn't have to start right away, but people were on top of it. I remember day one, like we had a bunch of emails with some fair questions on what was going on and clarifications on the rules. And it was the first time, the partner brands have done this competition together. So lots of things learned, hopefully on both sides of things. Hopefully had a great experience learning how to grow in a small cup. I know I'm enjoying kicking H's butt, just like I was doing in the first Kurt versus H until I got too cocky and lost.
Sure.
We'll anyways, it's Friday. I'm ready to call it a day if we don't have anybody else who wants to join. But before we do that, we have a giveaway to do. So please reminder, especially the people on Facebook, please do not put this in more than one time. Did we drop the hashtag maybe? With the hashtag being dropped?
We can drop the hashtag. Just put Grow Big Buds.
Okay.
Long one.
Grow Big Buds or
Grow Big Buds.
Grow,
fine.
Just grow, guys, because I don't want like a long. If it's one word, it's gonna look less like spam, I think. So just put grow. GROW. I'll share that screen so you know what it looks like and that I didn't mess it up, because that happens sometimes.
Just that grow on Facebook or YouTube. If you're on Instagram, come on over to Facebook or YouTube. Just find BudTrainer and you'll see the live going on right now.
Yeah, only 4 people who are in the giveaway. So
just type in.
It looks
grow.
like they probably already typed in grow somewhere. So get grow slowly into the chat, and we'll do a $25 gift card to the BudTrainer.com store. You guys can pick what you want. Hopefully it's somebody who's been here who has not had good luck yet. So good luck to
whoever
to
the
you
winner's going to
guys,
be.
and yeah, we'll get that going very soon. It's almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm very hungry. I haven't eaten all day. We were so busy with the content. It was an early day.
Got a lot. Yeah, got a lot done. So
I don't know what I'm going to eat. Probably some chicken wings, maybe.
Right.
See some chicken wings.
Why not? Friday chicken wings.
We're up to 28. Can we get to 30? Maybe 35. I know people can use a gift card as a gift if you guys don't need anything yet. You can always
give
gift
it
to
someone
a friend.
else. Yeah, someone who needs some growing in their life. Like, hey, here's how to start it. You know, gift card.
Don't forget to email your questions to hello@budtrainer.com over the weekend if you need help, because you will get a response from Buddy pretty much instantly. Give him about 2 to 5 minutes. If he knows the answers, you'll get a response. That is, if not, it'll go to us and we'll get back to you by Monday. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Give us a little love there if you don't mind, and we'd really appreciate it. And we'll get this draw going. 31 entries. Is that good for you?
Let's go.
All right, guys. One more chance to put grow into the comments.
2 chance, 3 chance, I go.
All righty.
All right.
It was a fun episode. I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Yeah.
And we got
Anthony.
Well, would you look at that?
Look at the. That's how karma works, right?
That's
there.
how to just come in and clean up at the very end. Well, thanks for showing up, Anthony. For those of you who didn't connect the dots, Anthony was just here with us right now, showing us his
I
beautiful
hope it's
blend.
the same Anthony, because we do have a couple of Anthonys. But
Yeah, I know. I think it's Anthony.
that would be really funny if it was a different
right?
Anthony.
Yeah. No, Anthony, congratulations.
We'll hook you up to Anthony.
I know, right? But congrats. Just send us a message. We'll send you the gift card. And I'm curious as to what you're going to get next.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder what he doesn't have.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well,
All right.
thanks for coming. Have a great weekend. See you next week.